Good morning, Faith UCC.
Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to Faith's UCC Sunday service. Summer is officially over. Yay. And some of us are very happy about that because it's been a really hot summer. And we look forward to some cool mornings and evenings. If you are a visitor here, we invite you to sign our guest book so that we can keep you posted on the many activities that we have going on in this very dynamic congregation. And if you are watching us online, wherever you might be, we say hi. Okay, but first let me say this right off the bat, and you might have already figured this out. Wait for it. I am not Pastor Mike McMillan. I am Marge Miller, co-lead of our Annam Cara Women's Circle, along with Leslie Kowalski, right here beside me. We are thrilled to have you all here today as we welcome a new friend of ours to our church, and you will all get to meet her soon. I, along with some others, got to meet Reverend Janice Lowell when we recently attended a day retreat at the Franciscan Center in Tampa, where Janice did a wonderful program on St. Bridget. As it turns out, we got to talking, and when we told her about our church, I guess you could say we kind of hit it off. Reverend Janice is originally a native of Canada, but spent most of her life in the United States. She was an RN for 27 years, primarily in Tampa Bay, the last 10 years of which was with hospice. She heard the calling and was ordained as a priest in the Progressive Anglican Church of Canada, and after serving many years, she retired in 2019 and returned to Florida to be with family. We are honored to have Reverend Janice with us today. And now let us join together in our gathering litany led by Leslie.
Good morning. Please join me in the call to worship. Now is the time for peace.
Peace is the serenity that takes root in our minds, one seed at a time.
Now is the time to anticipate peace in our world.
Peace grows in compassion, the compassion which the world sorely needs.
Now is the time to inspire the world with the comfort that peace can bring.
Peace is the inspiration for the light in the world that mystery shares with us.
Now is the time to share the healing power of peace with our children.
May peace penetrate the world today.
And now please stand if you are able to join in this hymn.
I'd like to lead the centering prayer, please. And this is a lovely poem by John O'Donohue. Now is the time to free the heart. Let all intentions and worries stop. Free the joy inside the self. Awaken to the wonder of your life. Open your eyes and see the friends whose heart recognize your face as kin. Those whose kindness watchful and near encourages you to live everything here. See the gifts the years have given, things your effort could never earn, the health to enjoy who you want to be, and the mind to mirror mystery. We're now going to join in the chant. It's sung 3 times, and will be led by the choir. And I don't know the name of it, but we're going to do it. Oh, choir's going to sing it. Cool. First time. Got it. All right. Thank you.
Nothing but peace is enough.
The scripture today is Philippians 4:6-7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus.
Dona nobis pacem, God give us peace. As the International Day of Peace was this past Thursday, I chose to reflect on that concept this morning. In my theological training, I was introduced to the term Pax Romano, or the Peace of Rome. It refers to the 200 years of Roman history identified as a golden age of increased and sustained Roman imperialism, relative peace and order, prosperity, and regional expansion. But it was hardly golden. It was made possible by fear, domination, slavery, absolute power, and punitive justice. Their leader, or Caesar, was a warrior king and autocrat. This type of peace, sadly, remains alive today. Then there is the Pax Christo, or peace of Christ. This was brought about through equity, love, and distributive justice. It is the peace God intends for us, and Jesus knew this kind of peace was difficult to achieve. Much of his teaching centered on how to bring about this peaceable kingdom. This type of leader was a healer, teacher, servant, and had the kindness of a shepherd. But even Jesus' followers hoped for a military Messiah. While Pax Romana and Pax Christo may seem the opposite, peace is a complex concept with many faces. We'll explore them and some of the people who gave voice to their understanding of peace. First, talk about a negative peace, which is defined as the absence of visible violence or revolution. Negative peace is achieved through dialogue or mediation rather than through force. Positive peace is achieved by relationships built on justice, participation, and a recognition of our mutual humanity and interdependence. Governments that practice these concepts can create and sustain peaceful societies. The personal face of peace refers to the awareness of one's own authentic being or essence, and living from and relating to others from that center. Personal peace requires that we strive to establish right relationships with ourselves. It is pursued through examining how we manage and act upon our own internal conflicts, attitudes, behaviors, and emotions. This is the arena of From Your Benediction Song, and Let It Begin With Me. Dag Hammarskjöld was a Swedish Secretary General of the United Nations. He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1961 for developing the UN into an effective and constructive international organization. He said, "Our work for peace must begin with the private world of each of us. To build a world without fear, we must be without fear. To build a world of justice, we must be just." He also said, "Forgiving is forgetting in spite of remembering." Wouldn't that be a healing balm for many relationships? Mahatma Gandhi was not awarded a Nobel Peace Prize, but his nonviolent approach to conflict inspired Howard Thurman and the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Gandhi said, if you remember, he was a lawyer, "There is a higher court than courts of justice, and that is the course of conscience. It supersedes all other courts." He also said, if you love peace, then hate injustice, hate tyranny, hate greed, but hate these things in yourself first and not in another. Howard Thurman, born in Daytona Beach, was an American author, theologian, mystic, educator, and civil rights leader. He wrote, "The hard thing when you get old is to keep your horizons open. The first part of your life, everything is in front of you, all your potential and promise. But over the years, you make decisions. You carve yourself into a given shape. Then the challenge is to keep discovering the green growing edge." So personal peace is a high calling and really a prerequisite for all the other types of peace. And we can see this peace in the face of Jesus. The social face of peace refers to the relationships of individuals and others, and their collective coexistence. In the social sphere, peace requires that we strive to develop and maintain right relationships with others. It's pursued by examining our attitudes, intentions, and behaviors as we manage our own interpersonal conflicts and differences. 1906, Theodore Roosevelt was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his role in bringing to an end the bloody war waged between two of the world's great powers of the time, Japan and Russia. He stated, "The things that will destroy America are prosperity at any price, peace at any price, safety first instead of duty first, the love of soft living and the get-rich-quick theory of life." Wonder how many of these have changed in our society. 1952, Albert Schweitzer was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his altruism, reverence for life, and tireless humanitarian work. He stated, "If we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding." In 1964, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. won the Nobel Peace Prize for his nonviolent struggle for civil rights for African Americans. He said, "The hope of a secure and livable world lies with disciplined nonconformists who are dedicated to justice, peace, and brotherhood." Indeed, being a nonconformist often involves being countercultural. The third phase of peace is the political, institutional, and military, and they are all highly interrelated. The political refers to the sphere of human relationships in which individuals come together to discourse, to collectively make decisions, and to engage in action to create a world together. Peace requires that we actively strive to establish right relationships within and between groups of people, communities, and organizations. All institutions are essentially political, even healthcare, education, the church, and they include organizations, businesses, and civil structures that support the development and maintenance of peace systems. The military supports both political and often institutional peace. It is a heavily armed, highly organized force, primarily intended for warfare. It is typically authorized and maintained by a sovereign state. In 1919, Woodrow Wilson was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his role as founder of the League of Nations. He stated, "I'm not one of those who believe that a great standing army is the means of maintaining peace. Because if you build up a great profession, those who form parts of it want to exercise their profession." Martin Luther King Jr. said, "We have guided missiles and misguided men." Desmond Tutu was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1984 for his role as a unifying leader in the nonviolent campaign to resolve the problem of apartheid in South Africa. He said, "If you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor." That famous statesman Groucho Marx said, "Military justice is to justice what military music is to music." And Jimi Hendrix. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. The ecological face of peace refers to the interdependent and dynamic interrelationships between and among all living organisms and their surroundings. This peace requires that we strive to establish right relationships with the earth and its ecosystems, of which we are a part and on which our survival and quality of life depend. Ecological peace is pursued through caring and protecting the earth and all of its creatures, and believing in its sacredness. Until we extend our circle of compassion to all living things, humanity will not find peace. Wendell Berry, American novelist, poet, environmental activist, cultural critic, and farmer, stated, "The earth is what we all have in common." In 2009, Barack Obama was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his extraordinary efforts to strengthen international diplomacy and cooperations between peoples. He said, "We are the first generation to feel the impact of climate change and the last generation that can do something about it." Christians often confuse the statement about God giving humans dominion over the earth. To rule over creation is not about domination, but stewardship, that which sustains, protects, and enhances God's works so that all creations may thrive. Physical peace arises when we are at peace with our bodies. We all have infirmities of some sort. By accepting them and doing what we can to ameliorate their effects on our lives, we are better able to befriend our bodies than alienate ourselves from them. There's also a physical dimension of peace that we can feel within our bodies, a sense of well-being or even euphoria, no matter how short-lived. Have you ever experienced that sensation of something welling up inside of you, kind of like a balloon inflating, that makes your whole being expand? We might say that spiritual peace is the peace of God given to us, and also our own peace or relationship with the Creator. Going back to the negative concept of peace, in the spiritual peace, it is the absence of blaming God for challenges in our lives. Positively, it is finding peace among the hardships. Dag Hammarskjöld stated, this was back in the late 50s, unless there is a spiritual renaissance, the world will know no peace. In 1989, the 14th Dalai Lama was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for advocating peaceful solutions based on tolerance and mutual respect in order to preserve the historical and cultural heritage of his people. His hope for all peoples is mirrored in the following: may the poor find wealth, those with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find new hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be free. May the weak find power, and may their hearts join in friendship. As I was reading these words, I thought of Mary's response to the angel Gabriel in the Annunciation, in the words of the Magnificat. And the words are also reflected by Jesus in the Beatitudes. For me, a peaceful society is one that ensures equal distribution of resources, be it food, shelter, healthcare, and education. The citizens are encouraged to become their best selves. Tenets of a just and peaceful society are compassion, humility, generosity, inclusiveness, hospitality, right relationships, interdependence of all living creatures, and the maintenance of dignity for all. These are all characteristics of Jesus and ones he encouraged us to foster. If you look at the slide, peace in the personal realm involves right relationship with yourself. In the social realm, right relationship with others. In the political, right relationships among and between organizations. Ecological, right relationship with the earth. Physical, a right relationship with our body. And spiritual, a right relationship with the Creator. Jesus knew no outsiders. There was no other. I share that as I reflect upon concerns over immigration in this country. Jesus calls us to be peacemakers, not by ignoring sources of conflict and violence, but by committing ourselves to nonviolent action to bring about a set of relationships based on justice, equality, and participation. In closing, I use the words from my newest hero, Howard Thurman. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go for it. Because what the world really needs is people who have come alive. Amen. So I've been asked to share the joys and concerns. And we'll start with the concern. Please pray for Linda Bridge and Holly Wyatt. Both have COVID, and they just returned home from 2 months away in Vermont and New Jersey. For joys, Cliff and Ellery celebrated their 16th anniversary on September 22nd. They were married in the Faith UCC on Drew Street. Joy, another joy is it's Tom Resiniello's 65th birthday. And that's on next Wednesday, the 27th. And another joy, Faith UCC donated 271 pounds of food to Dunedin Cares last week. I'm going to share with you, this is the pastoral prayer. As we re-emerge, all that disconnects us will become one. We will claim power with instead of power over. We will be gentle and kind instead of judging others. We will be affirming of all people instead of being prejudicial. We will be filled with abundance and goodness instead of greed. We will be good stewards of creation. We will care for those who are struggling. We will honor the old and the young. We will treat all with dignity. And then men and women will be one, and we will create a new garden, a new paradise. We shall reclaim Eden once again, and the greed of some will give way to the needs of many. Amen. Now, if you'll join me in the words of the Lord's Prayer. Essence of life that is in us,
that permeates every fiber and molecule in the universe, all inspiring the thought of you. Let us ponder your closeness, compassion, empathy, understanding of all creation. Give us what is necessary to live, and wipe clean the slate of our mistakes, our unkindnesses, our failures to act, as we forgive the unkindnesses and mistakes of others. Help us to do what is right for our world, and keep us safe as we avoid the pitfalls of existence. For you are us, our connectedness, the energy, the power, and the magnificence, for all time, eternity, and timelessness. Namaste and Amen.
Well, this is the time that we ask for you to dig deep and help contribute to the work of this church. There are plates on the back table for you to give as the Spirit moves you, and we hope the Spirit moves you a lot. And Oktoberfest is coming up on October 29th. Tickets are $5 a person. Next week, we will have a sign-up sheet for people who want to make or bring something to share, and for those who are able to help set up and clean up. And if you wish to have a table for the craft fair, which will be held in the sanctuary, please contact Tom Miller. Please. Yeah. In writing or by email or text. Because of the great participation, we do need additional tables to set up. So if you have a table that you are willing to bring for October 29th, please contact Tom Miller by email or text. It looks like it's going to be a really fun day. Les, would you come up? And Esther? There we go. Hopefully, most of you know about Anam Cara and what it means in our church. But in case you don't, Anam Cara is Gaelic for soul friend and was birthed 5 years ago by Jan Ryan and myself as the Anam Cara Women's Circle. Our current council consists of me, Leslie, Esther, Lisbeth, and Sandy. And Barbara Turner Delisle, who is away and will be back pretty soon. She's coming back. As the overhead slide shows, we are many things with many ministries. We are open to all, and we delight in sharing our endeavors with you. Most recently, of course, is the installation of the one and only labyrinth in Dunedin, our Peace Labyrinth. And we have great plans for our Peace Labyrinth. Everyone is invited, men and women, to join the Faith Walkers every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. or come anytime that suits you. Labyrinths are to be experienced. We also have a Monday Mahjong game that we started recently. It's Monday at 1:30, open to beginners and experienced players, and we're having a good time. We're having a good time. Every March, we celebrate International Women's Day with thought-provoking educational programs. We periodically support group outings. Many of you attended the 9 to 5 performance in the spring, and recently the Nan Colton performance at the Countryside Library. We will be hosting our annual tea on November 4th. You may recall that at last year's Tea with a Twist, we were fortunate to have our very own Debbie Dunbar give us some belly dancing lessons. This year's theme is luau, and our tiki, T-E-A-K-I, tiki, it will include ukulele demonstrations and lessons from Terry Conroy's ukulele group and her friends. So save the date, November 4th. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. We'll be announcing that again in the end. We might even have some Mai teas. Get it? In addition to just plain fun and socializing, some of Anam Cara's ministries include our Flower Ministry and our Together Women Rise ministry. I'd like to have Leslie and Esther say a few words about their ministries.
4 years ago, Faith UCC began a partnership with Random Acts of Flowers for a nonprofit organization in Dunedin that repurposes flowers and donates them. They create beautiful flower arrangements and to be distributed wherever flowers would be appreciated. Every 2 weeks, the first and third Friday morning, we deliver them to our church family. You might have been the recipient of some of these flowers. We know that these flowers help to bring joy to folks who can use a bit of joy in a heart visit. The joy is also received by those who deliver them. If you would like to join the Flower Brigade, please talk to me later, and you will be blessed. Esther?
Good morning, everyone. Okay, So we are so pleased to inform you of the next Anam Cara Women's Circle event, which is Together Women Rise. Some of you are new here and may not know too much about RISE, as we like to call it. So I'll give you a very brief description. Together Women Rise is a powerful community of women dedicated to achieving global gender equality. The programs supported by Together Women Rise focus on educating women and girls and their communities in order to make a difference in their lives and in the world, indeed. Of course, that mission totally aligns with our own vision here at Faith UCC as we support justice and equity for all. There are hundreds of chapters, of local chapters, across the USA, where members learn about and advocate for gender equality issues by giving grants to organizations that empower women and girls in developing nations. We are part of the Florida Southwest region. Our chapter is FL 28. The way that it works is as follows. We gather here in our gathering space the first Saturday of every other month. Everyone brings a dish to share, and traditionally, we donate the equivalent of what you would normally spend when you're out with your friends for lunch. But more importantly, we learn about the grantee for that month and the impact that the donations will make. So join us Saturday, October 7th, 11 a.m. to noon. I hope that you have seen our announcement in this week's Open Door. So if you haven't, check it out. So everybody, rise. Come one, come all, to support women and girls, because together we make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. And thank you everyone who helped make this service go so well. Thank you, Janice, for coming here, the choir, the music, Casey, Carolyn, and of course everyone in the congregation. Thank you for supporting Anam Cara. We really appreciate it. And now, let's sing our way out of here with our traditional benediction song. Yes, Chuck?
We visited Jenny Van Scoik, and she wanted to say hi to you all. She's in the room now at Palm City.
Okay,
Just wanted to say hi to you.
okay.
We did her flowers from our program.
And flowers, yes. Betty?
I'm supposed to be on the schedule for an announcement for stewardship.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, come on up. And then we'll sing.
Don't worry, it's just a minute. Okay, I'm Betty Mann, your financial development leader, and I'm up here to kick off our stewardship campaign. All week I've been thinking about what I'm going to say to you, and it has been on my mind more and more as we approach today. Friday, I went to bed thinking, okay, tomorrow's Saturday, you've definitely got to plan what you're going to say. You're running out of time on this. So I've always been a prolific dreamer. Back when I was working, I used to solve most of my problems in the middle of the night. And once again, my dreaming solved my writer's block. Going to bed Friday night with this presentation on my mind, I had a bit of a nightmare. I was running a small business and I had 4 or 5 employees to pay, and there was zero money in the bank. Needless to say, I was in a panic. Then the dream kind of takes a weird tangent where someone says, but look here in the accounts, you have a debit balance here and accrued payroll of $29,000, and that means the money should be here in a day or two. I looked at what they were talking about, and it made no sense at all. There was still no money in the bank and no sign of any deposits coming in the near future. And then I woke up, thank God. But I had solved my presentation problem. I would just relay this dream to you because the church is exactly like a small business. We have our wonderful pastor and fantastic staff to pay, in addition to the mundane things like insurance, utilities, and maintenance. Even though pledging gives you a wonderful sense of satisfaction in supporting all the wonderful things that happen here, please turn in your pledge cards soon so that I can get a good night's sleep, knowing that we have the funds needed for our continued operation. Thank you. And I just have to say, that raised me up, it gave me chill bumps. It was so beautiful.
There be peace on earth.
you.